Good morning. Today I went with my son Will to Kent's Park, named for the Kent Mill people, which they go back to about 1840 and they lasted into the 1960s. And, they had contracts with the government to make uniforms in the Civil War, and even up to the Second World War and even later, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we went along where the area that's called Kent's Park along Darby Creek. This is northern Drexel Hill, and it's flat. And this area is where much of it today you don't realize it, but there were mill tenements. And yes, you can see at the far end beyond the park what easily you can recognize having been mills. But you don't know that the Kent family gave the land, and some of the mill tenements were all taken out, and it may have been the first county park. In any event, that the I went down there with my brother, taken by my mother when I was very young, and I was taking Nolan and Bill down, and we were down there today. And some people don't go out when the weather's inclement, full of humidity that the almost you could actually feel it, and it was muddy. We would have to park largely to ourselves, and we were talking and reminiscing. There is one of the largest, for a very long time, arched, there's a name for a type of concrete bridge. It's called the Lindbergh Bridge because while it was in the works for it to be built, and it goes over the eastern part of the park perpendicular, uh, Lindbergh did his famous flight, and there's a claim, and it seems justified, that the first infrastructure that was named for Charles Lindbergh, the pilot, was this bridge that was just about to be unveiled. And it's an interesting area down there. Just to further and down a little bit was an 1880s bridge, and you can see it was lower. I mean, closer to the creek. The arch bridge is upstream, very close to where the original one, and goes across this way. But the other one went down a little bit, and then was lower. And I guess it took less construction to do it in the 1880s. On the east end, if you look, there's a huge marble date stone. I mean, very large with all kinds of names in it. Not the least of whom was, Patrick uh, O'Brien. O'Brien this was a Catholic community, so prominent with the engineers and the like is this local Catholic priest who has spent more than 25 years down there. When priests didn't have silver anniversaries in 1898, he did. O'Brien had a silver anniversary down there, and but it's rather interesting area the mill tenements, the only people like myself to know history was down there. It was just filled with children and mothers in the early 50s up to about 1960. A little wading pool, which is long since gone. It's still used today. It's used as in name, it mainly as a dog park for walking purposes. Today we did something, and I did it a little too late, is I like to fly a kite once a year. Billy took out the kite, they fixed it up, went down there, and while earlier it was a little brighter in sun, it's been cold, 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 really cold, but it's going up to 57, and it was in about 54 when we went out. Well, when we went down there, the wind had stopped, and it's all wet, and we tramped around. And what I started to say earlier is that don't let weather necessarily hold you back from experiencing for the first time or reminiscing. Incidentally, whether it's a book or going someplace, each time you're in a different personal place, so that all of a sudden the insights, come out not quite the same. They're improved. And if you always go out with the sunshine and people around and things like this, you don't have an interesting sense visitation. In the 1800s, and I'll leave off with this thought, the New Englanders said you don't really know a place until you've been there in a storm. Now, I'm not recommending you go out in a storm necessarily, although I mean that if you go outside the porch or do it, you can experience an area in a different way. But on humid, even muddy days or sunny, lightly snow-covered days, go out. Don't let the weather dictate experiencing life and learn from it. Thank you.